Hello, seniors. So, this video is going to be about how to create a budget. And this is what I have been preaching about all year. This is Principles of Economics, and the purpose of this class is to teach you to be financially stable. And I think this lesson is what teaches you how to budget, which is one of the key elements of being financially stable. So, this is the learning objective. You're going to choose a career path, then you're going to determine your pay. And based on that pay, you're going to come up with a savings plan, you're going to create a budget, and then you're going to process and evaluate that budget. Okay. And I do want to give credit to Next Gen. This is their work, so I want to give credit to them. I don't want to plagiarize. I'm using this for the first time, and let's see how it works out. Okay, so everybody's going to get this Google slide, and then you are each individually going to get a spreadsheet. Okay, and this is what the spreadsheet would look like. Oops. But your name would show up here, so everybody gets a copy. All right, so the first thing I want you to do is just write what career you're interested. I picked nursing. I chose nursing right here, so I typed in nursing only because I had like 2 or 3 students tell me that they were interested in nursing. Okay, all right. So let's go on to slide 3. And here you're going to click on this link. Okay. So I like this resource because it tells you what career, how much money that career makes. So you're going to go right here to the search button and you're going to type in whatever career it is that you're interested in and press enter. And we're going to they give you all kinds of nurses. So I'm just going to give a registered nurse. Uh, and the resource gives you what knowledge you need, the skills, the ability, the personality, and the technology skills, education degree. And here in the job outlook, I really like this resource because you could go here to local salary information and type in the zip code and then go. Because if you see, the first graph shows you the national average, which wouldn't really be fair if you live in LA, because if you live in a small town, you're not going to get paid more because the cost of living in those small towns are very low compared to big cities like San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, even Miami. So those areas you would get paid more. So this is particularly for Los Angeles. So the average or the middle pay of nurses would be 105,000 with 950. So let's turn that here because it says, then we're going to write this where it says step 2. Okay. So right here is step 2. So we're going to write 105. What was it again? I'm sorry. Let's see. 105,950. Okay. All right, perfect. All right, so let's continue. So the slideshow gives you step by step. Okay, so this is your annual salary, how much you get paid per year. Okay. All right, now let's go. Okay, so here we're going to calculate the monthly. Hello. Okay, calculate the monthly. So that's our next goal. Step 3, we're going to calculate how much we're going to make every month. Okay. All right. Okay, so here we're going to look at this calculator. Okay, so you're going to click on this link and it's going to give you your gross and it's going to give you your net. And if you go here, it tells you, okay, how much you get paid per month. All right, you're going to put monthly, you're going to put that yes for the W4. You could put single. If you want to put married, you could put married. Okay, and then you just leave the values as they are. So this is a great source. I know we didn't have an opportunity to talk about taxes, but just one thing you should know when in regards to taxes, you should always get a great tax person who understands. Okay, so going back here, and you should know about your tax brackets because one of the biggest expense is um, one of your biggest expenses is taxes, or are taxes because there's so there's the federal tax, there's the state tax, there's the local tax. So yeah, what incorrect cross? Did I not put the maybe up to 6-digit decimals? Okay, let's see. I think that's correct. All right, and here we're gonna put monthly. Okay, our monthly pay. We want to find out our monthly salary. Okay, and she said, or they say to put yes. If you want to put married, but let's just pretend right now, actually, single people do pay the most. Okay, so it's actually better financially stable to remain married. Okay, all these deductions and then everything else is the same. So we're going to go calculate. I hope it did take my number. I thought I fixed it. No. Okay, so let's put one. Wait, oh, it's 105. See, I am not focused. Okay, what is going on here? You may have up to 6-digit. Oh, you know what? Okay, you know what? I'm glad I did this because um, someone else may be doing the same mistake. Duh, just don't put the comma. That's the computers don't understand commas, even though mathematically it is correct. Here we go. Okay, so your gross pay, this is what you make. A month, you make $8,829. Okay, but then you have the federal national government is going to take out 1,300 of that. FICA is Social Security. Okay, 547. Medicare. Then you have the state of California has pretty deep taxes. You have disability. Okay, so your net. This would be your net. Okay, so now let's use this. Take this information and we're going to put it in here. All right, so our gross, remember think, oh my goodness, it's so gross, it has everything. Control C, and then I'm just gonna use Control V. Okay, and then they want your net. In other words, think of a net. So the gross is everything, and then the net, it's your watered down version. So of what you actually are going to take home. Okay, let me just make sure that is correct. Okay, did I put 105? I did, yes. Okay, so this is what you take home per month. Okay, uh, but from the 8,000, you would take home $6,000. Okay, all right, perfect. All right, so now we're going to just keep going back to slide and it's going to give us steps. So now we are in step 5, okay? And it's very important to put yourself first, okay? So you get to choose one. Please do not pick 5%, especially if you are a professional. There should be no reason why you can't buy a house, why you can't save up. And the way you do that is by paying yourself first. So I can't stress enough the emphasis of savings. The way I bought my second house is that I, my husband and I, we lived off his salary and my entire salary just went to saving up for a house. So if you want to have these goals, whatever it is that you want in life, you could save up for it. Okay, so now let's take a look at 10%. If you could do 20%, it's even better, but let's do 10%, which you just eliminate this zero right here. Okay, so you're just gonna put $608, which 10% savings, if you have a goal like buying a house, it's very little. Okay. So I know when you're in your 20s, it's like you're making all this money and you're thinking, yay, but this is a time when you should really be investing and thinking about, setting up the nests for the future. Um, because in my personal opinion, everybody's different. Everybody defines happiness differently. But if you're always paying rent, how are you going to retire one day? Okay. So buying a house for me, in my opinion, when you first buy it, is very nerve wracking. My knees were shaking when I first bought my house. Uh, but after a while, it does make better sense. Okay. And this is what I know. This is exactly what they're saying. They're saying the same thing I'm saying. So it's never too young to start saving for retirement, and not just for retirement. Okay. So you never know where life could take you. You should always have that savings, because life is very dynamic. You don't know in the future. You should always have, like, build a security, build a financial security, because that is very important. Okay. So you're going to set aside. Okay. So we're going to do another 10%. Please don't do 5%. I would even take 20% if you could afford it. So if you're making $105 a year, that's more than what I make. You could definitely save up more. Okay. All right. And then your total savings, we're just going to add this up together. You just multiply by two, or just add it. So it's going to be 1216. Okay. All right. So it's very important that you tell the bank to automatically take your savings out directly. We have like just a direct savings, so you don't even see that money. So you have no potential of spending it. And banks would automatically do that. You could say, for my net pay, just uh, put it directly into my savings, and they'll do that. Banks will do that. Okay, so now that's your total savings, and that's step 7, which we've already done. So total savings. Okay, so now let's go to step 8. All right, so now we're going to calculate. Okay, oh, they just make a little note that saving is not an expense, it's the money you're setting aside for your own future. However, it's also money that you shouldn't spend on other things each month. Okay, so your savings, you kind of just leave it there. When the last lesson we talked about banks, right? Where you want to keep 6 months, but then afterwards, you don't want to keep a big savings if it goes what the interest rates they're giving you is below the cost of living. Okay, unless you are really trying to save up for a major purchase. Okay, because you don't want to be paying interest. That's like, no, you don't want to make other people rich in your life. You don't want to, you want to make yourself rich, right? Okay, so now we're going to talk about cost of living. Okay, and of course that involves, okay, rent, cable, internet, home, mobile, all this stuff is your cost of living. Okay, so now let's see how we're going to calculate rent. All right, so they have 3 options. They have 9A, 9B, and 9C. So 9A is that you live alone. Okay, I mean, you live at home. All right. And why not? If you have a good, stable lifestyle, and if your parents allow it, nowadays a lot of people, because they have so many student loans, are back home living with their parents just to be able to pay the rent. Um, you don't want to be in that situation, but let's say if your parents, if your parents, you don't mind your living situation, then you're like, okay, can I pay you like $500 a month or $1,000 a month, so that way I could save up for a house. So later on in life, a little bit of sacrifice now could end up helping you. Okay. But I know your parents, if you have parents who love you, but there comes a time when they're just gonna be like, okay, get out. Or you don't want to be like some people who, live off their parents, especially if their parents are elderly. You don't want to be in that situation. Okay, so here's part B, where you are living by yourself. Okay, so let's go here to this link. All right, and click on the link right here. All right. So let's say you're like, no way, I just can't wait to get out of my house. I just want to live by myself. Or, I love my parents, but I really want my own place. Okay. So let's do that. So here, I mean, you could type in your zip code, but let's just put in Los Angeles because they already gave LA. So you can just click on LA and it tells you the rents. Okay. And LA is one of the cities. It's not as much as New York or or San Francisco, but it's definitely up there depending on what neighborhood. But quite honestly, I think this is very accurate. So from January, right here, let's see, let's click right here. So the average one bedroom apartment in LA is let's let's hover over it. It's at least $2,195. This is the average. Of course, you have like the nice areas and then you have the not so nice areas. But seriously, what is the cheapest you could find? And please do not say, oh, well, we have rent control and this and that. Yeah, your parents have rent control, but to a certain extent, you're not going to. Okay. And if you're making 100,000, I don't want to hear stuff like that. Okay. Let's be realistic. Okay. All right. And then part C, you could get with a roommate. Okay. And you could split it in half. And if you see that here, if you do not like living alone, if you like the roommate, or, if you want to get two bedrooms, okay, a two-bedroom apartment, and let's see, how much is that? Okay. So that's almost like 3,000. So if you split it, it's 1,500. So however you want, let's say, if you're a nurse and um your job, that's a tough job, any professional, and you just want peace. You don't want to deal with a roommate who might give you kind of problems. So let's put 2,000. Okay, so you chose that one. You could choose which one you want. Okay, but that's your rent. Okay, why did it do that? Okay, it did that. Like, wait, let me just see. 2,000. Oh, because I put a decimal there? I need to stop. See, don't put commas or decimals. Okay, there we go. Okay, now let's see the next step. Now we're in step 10. So let's go to step 10. All right, so step 10, renter insurance. Okay, so according to here, you need rental insurance and it's $20. So you just put $20. Okay, now cable. Let's look over here. I don't have cable. Okay. So if you're living with somebody, uh, you can't be a freeloader and you're getting older, so you have to take responsibility. All right. Or you can say, oh, I paid this bill, Um, yeah. No, I want you to, if you're already professional, you should be paying bills. All right. So cable, a lot of people I know have cable. I don't. Okay. But if you have something like you don't want to have cable because you have Netflix and whatever, budget that. Okay. All right, so let's say that you want to use this one, the $45 ones, because even if you don't have cable, you have Netflix and other forms. You know what? Okay, I'm going to put $20. Okay. Just it has to make sense, your numbers. All right, internet, that's a huge thing right now. I pay $50. Which I'm thinking that we need to maybe upgrade, but I'll put $50 here. Okay, so it's on you what you choose, and you could definitely ask your parents or whoever's paying the bills. Hey, can you help me out with this? How much do we pay for this? Is this realistic? Home, okay. I no longer have a landline. Some people do. You could put it, okay. Um, I know in states of emergency, the cell phones don't work, but most people, I think, just now have cell phones. So if you put zero, I'm totally okay with that. All right, cell phones. I hear, there's Cricket. It's only $45 a month or whatever, but I honestly think $80 is reasonable for you to put. Okay. All right, now let's see electric and gas. 200, and I think this is pretty low. Even if you're not home, I've had students argue like, oh, I don't need gas. Yeah, you need hot water. Okay. Or if you're hardly cooking at home, then you're gonna be paying a lot of dining out, and dining out could be very expensive. Okay. So I really don't see how this bill could be less than 200. And I am the type of person that walks around and is like, why is that TV on? So you're going to see that you're going to sound like your parents when you start paying bills. Okay, so right here, your cost of living expense, it totaled it for you, is 2,565. Okay, and I do want to point out, well, should I point out now? That, yeah, that if ever you want to not go to college and just work a minimum wage job, okay, and you're seeing this here, the cost of living. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, without even transportation, is already 2,000. Okay, 2,500. So right now, if you see here, let me do the calculator here. Okay, I just put a calculator, online calculator. All right, if the minimum wage is $12 here in California, okay, an hour, and you work 40 hours a week, okay, so you're making 480 a week times 4, okay, for 4 weeks per month. That's 1920. That's even before taxes. So you'll probably be taking home, if you're lucky, $1,600. Okay? Can you find an apartment at that price? So if you ever want to quit college, remember this budget, okay, and how extremely difficult it is, if not impossible, to live off minimum wage and not have to depend on other people. That's just my little soapbox. I really just want all of you to have a good, stable um, financial future. Okay, now let's go on to assignment seven. Step 13. Oh, wait, step 12. Calculate your monthly. Okay, I did that for you. So all your living expenses. Okay, and then 13, now we're going to see public transportation. Okay, so in LA it's $90. I honestly do not want to see anyone try to say that they're going to be nurses, or a professional and take public transportation, especially in LA. I'm sorry, I won't take that answer, because if we were in New York, I would say okay, but in LA, no, because uh, there's no way uh, you could get by. I mean, unless you live right in front. You see, New York is not even here, because that would prices wouldn't even be here. Okay, so I do want you to pick the other. I want you to pick a car payment. Okay. All right. So if you get a used car, you get a good used car for 240. Okay, and 3-year loan. Okay, pay it off in 3 years. And we spoke about them when we spoke about banks. You could also get a 5-year loan. Okay, um, and I'm sure this would be cheaper. But I think if you want to get a brand new car, most brand new cars go between these two, unless you want to get like a nice, Model 3 Tesla or whatever. But I want to stay over here, okay, between the 600 and 700. I mean, and 900. So yeah, so I'm just gonna pick like 750, okay, for your car payment, okay. So you get your brand new car. Okay, so and let's go now to car insurance. Okay, so there's national average is 130. Keep in mind, if you're in your 20s and you're a male, it's your insurance is going to be super high. Okay, because this is the average. They're just looking at other people. They're not even looking at age group or prior accidents. So again, it's being financially stable. There's someone I know, I'm not going to mention names, but a lot of speeding tickets when they were young, thinking, haha, this is fun. I love my car, just speeding. Yeah, but now that he has kids, it's really killing him, because once you have a speeding ticket, your insurance will go sky high. So there are people who love the fast cars and all that stuff, and what have you. Okay, that's fine. Have your fun, but don't hurt anybody, don't hurt yourself, and think of the long-term consequences. Okay, so those speeding tickets and those car accidents, they just make your insurance go crazy. But according to them, let's do the 136. Okay. because that's the average. Okay. And card maintenance, they said 100. Okay. And you're like, well, I don't pay $100. Yeah, you do. If you look at, you know, you may not pay every month the $100, but when you do get the bills, they do come, boom, like fixing your brakes. I know the oil change you get for like $30 every 3 months. Don't forget to do an oil change in your car, and then you have to pay the DMV every year. So even though you're like, oh, I don't see my parents, or I don't pay $100 per month. But when you do get the bill, it does add up. So we are going to put $100, even though a month you don't spend $100, but eventually to fix the car. And if you get a used car, remember, if you or you yourself know someone who does maintenance, that's awesome. But if you get a really used car that, in the long run is going to cost you even more because of the repairs. Okay, so step 17 is gas. This is quite interesting, okay? So where you live, you may want to live closer to home because besides it taking a toll on your health to be commuting so much, you also have to think about gas. And you may want to consider electric cars. Electric cars are so much more cheaper than getting gas, especially if you charge them at night. So my husband and I did the math because he has a Volt. So he ends up paying 2 pennies per gallon because in electric bills, not in gas. So it comes out a lot cheaper to get an electric car, and it's also good for the environment. And that's just, my personal opinion. Okay, so let's see here, $90. Well, you guys see me drive my old Sienna. Yeah, and I would say it's like 100, yeah, $90, and I live very close to school, so okay. All right, so just in transportation, it's $1,000. Okay. All right, now let's go on to step 19, food. Yay. Okay, let's go to food, my favorite. All right, so now, okay, so this is just everything with the car. So it's not just getting a car. And remember, we talked about with demand and supply, and how, you have to look at, well, what's the complement? If I get a nice big truck, oh, look, it's cheaper than getting a sedan. Yeah, it may be cheaper, but you also have to think, okay, now the gas. Okay, so always think about what else do I need to buy with what I'm when I'm making a major purchase. All right, so step 19 is groceries. Okay, so according to this, a female could live off $200 a month. I don't see that in LA. I really don't. Every time I go to Costco, it's like a $300 bill, and I go like maybe twice a month. So I spend a lot, but people think I'm crazy. Uh, so it's on you. You could ask your parents. I would not take anything less than $300 here. Okay, because I think it just doesn't happen. All right. Um, okay, which gets to the next one. I think people who don't spend a lot on groceries, they're not spending a lot on groceries because they're eating out a lot. So I had a friend who was having financial problems, and I sat down and I did the budget with her, and I said, okay, exactly what we're doing right now. And I said, okay, well, how much do you spend? Oh, I don't spend a lot. And I said, okay. She worked a lot, and so did her husband. So they went out to dinner every night. Okay, so we're talking about not even 5 meals a week. We're talking about 7 meals a day. I'm like, okay, how much does it come out for you and your family to eat? Uh, and they weren't going to steakhouses. They were just, going to fast food places. And it's like, well, family of four, we're spending just like maybe $80, because it was the four of them. And I'm like, okay, $80, multiply that by 30, you know? How much are you spending per month? And I just took the calculator. Okay, let's say $80. That's your usual thing. And then let's say there's 30 days in a month. Okay. Oh, so you're spending $2,400. She's like, no, yes. Have you ever just added up? And she's like, oh my goodness, I had no idea we were spending. I was like, yeah. So one of the good things that you could do is learn to cook. You know, Cooking could save you a lot of money, and for those sometimes staying at home and cooking is a big money saver. Okay, so these little things. Okay, so yeah, cooking will be a big thing. Or let's say you just want to eat on the weekends. Okay, I like to eat on the weekends. Okay, go out and eat on the weekends for a good meal. So yeah, 160. So we would put, you know what, I would put 160 if you like to hang out with your friends and go out on the weekend. Okay. All right, now here we go. Now let's go to the next thing. Here's your health. And please, please, health should be first because if you don't have your health, you just don't have. You will be in financial ruins. If you look at statistics out there and people who declare bankruptcy, many of them is because they had health issues. Okay. So your health is number one. And I don't know where they got this. Okay. And we spoke about this in the beginning. If you're offered a job that pays $60,000, okay, but with health insurance, and then another job that gives you 80, but without health insurance, which one do you take? Okay. And I know if you're single, and you're not married and you don't have kids, you're tempted to take the $80,000 one. But trust me, okay, health insurance is huge. Okay, teachers and firefighters and cops may not get paid a lot, but they do have very good health insurance. Most government jobs give good health insurance. When I was a stay-at-home mom and my husband was working, um, his insurance, and we had good insurance, was 1,000 a month. So this is again looking at the national average, but if you look at private insurance in Los Angeles, it's like 800, 1,000 per month. Okay, but if you are going back here, if you chose nursing, or if you work for the government, you would probably pay zero health insurance. Okay. So all these three things right here would be zero. This would be zero, zero, zero. But let's say you don't work for the government. Okay. You don't work for the government. And um, yeah, so this would be like 800. This would be 100 a month. And this would be another 100. Okay. Yeah. So if you don't work, so let's say this nurse works for a private hospital, then and does not have insurance. All right. So the next thing is haircut. Okay. So let's go right here. You know, it's easy. You just follow the steps. Okay. For men, $28. Okay. And for women, 44. Okay. If you go once a month, that's fine. All right. And let's do steps 26 since we're here. All right, grooming. So it's not even like expensive colognes and perfume. We're talking about soap, toothpaste, right? Female products. Okay. How much do those cost? Okay. So right here they have $25 a month. I think that's very low. Okay. But that's fine. Okay. So I'm going to put 44. Okay. I think $25 a month is, you know, I don't know, but that could be me. It's on you. Okay. It's on you what you want to put. Okay. So you don't have to necessarily follow these numbers. You could just be very realistic, and ask around. Ask your parents, how much do you spend on this? Gym membership. Gym membership is very important to maintain your health. If you work out at home, that's fine, but yeah, $58 is pretty good. So I'm just going to put $58. Okay. So this is just on your health. Okay. This is not, I don't see anything here about vitamins or, any kind of nutrients, but okay, we're just going to leave it again. All right. Now let's look at step 29, education. Okay. Oh, okay. That's the total budget. All right, here's step 29, student loans. Okay. And the last, I hope you guys do that assignment with the career pathway. And I teach you how to treat college as a business. Okay. Remember, it is a business deal. They are teaching you a trade so you could go out there and learn a craft. But remember, it is supply and demand. Find a career that has a lot of demand so you could get a good job. But all these little things I taught you before, take that into account. And as you know, Diamond Lee has the LA Promise, so you should have the first 2 years of college free. Okay. So you could, use your financial aid if you really need it. But if you want to save it for the other 2 years, uh, you know, definitely treat college as a business. Okay. Don't go crazy. Don't go to those, American Career College that charge you an arm and a leg, uh, and then you're in debt forever. Okay. Or if, or good name college if you're not going to use their connections. Okay. So there are plenty of good colleges that would not get you into debt. All right. So let's just say something easy like this. Let's say you paid attention to Miss Gomez, you paid attention to me, and you know not to go into student debt. Okay. You know how to um, um, not get tricked by money making colleges that later on do not benefit you as much. If look, it all depends. My cousin graduated with, I think it was $400,000 student debt. Yeah, she's a urologist. Okay, she makes like $600,000 a year. That's fine. She paid for it. No big deal. But if I would have had a $400,000 debt as a teacher who's only making $60,000, that's a problem. Okay. I'm never going to get out of debt. So, this is like you need to consider all this. But okay, let's put 115. Okay. So make good choices. Okay. Good financial choices. And budgeting definitely puts that in perspective. Okay. Like I said, there's so many people who, they wanted the college experience. They wanted to go to the dorms and have fun. And that's fine. But, okay. But think about how later on, um, how is that going to stop you from buying a nice house? Okay. And then being financially stable for the rest of your life. Okay. So here's step 30. I know I'm preaching. I just want you to have a good, solid foundation. Okay. So money should not be the issue when you go to school. Okay. All right. So now I know, you have to think of fun because fun is very important for your health. You have to do what you love and enjoy your life because if you don't, then it's going to be bad for your health. Okay. So think about, what is it that you enjoy doing and how much does this cost you? Okay. If you want to budget for vacations, if you like vacations, whatever makes you happy. Okay. If you like to take classes, you like to go to the movies, you like to go out eating with your friends, you have to also budget that in. Okay. Um, because you want to be able to do that. So how do you know how much to spend? Okay, so let's take the good thing about this chart is that it tells you, you know, um, how much you have left. Okay, so far you have spent $5,375. Okay, and I've been very selective. Okay, so let's say you spend let's say 200, so $50 a weekend every weekend. Say you spend $200 a month. Or if you like expensive video games, you have to put that in there. Okay. So you have $708 left because $100,000 is a pretty good salary to have. Okay. So take a look at this $5,000 compared to what is someone minimum wage? $2,400. Okay. And we're not even talking about having kids. Okay. Because you have kids, that eats all of that up. Okay. Because you got to pay childcare and what have you. So you could have anything you want. Um, you just have to budget for it. Okay. So if you want that in life, if you know how to budget, you could get it. Okay. And save up for it and what have you. Okay. And, just be smart, be smart like your wedding day, do you want to spend $40,000 on your wedding, on a 1 day wedding? Or do you want to put that as a down payment of a house? I'm not saying not to have a good wedding. not saying that. I'm just saying that when you budget, you kind of take a look, okay, at your finances and your life. What is where you put your money in is what you value, right? Okay. So, this is why it's important for every household to have a spreadsheet like this. Okay. We have one like this, and everybody has access to it because we know, okay, here's my limit. And do I go over the limit? Of course. But you kind of have to get back. Okay. So, do you have a surplus or do you have a deficit? Okay. So, remember, we talked about surplus and deficit. Okay. So, reflect on these. Okay. Reflect. Okay. Um, what do you think about doing this budget? Okay. Um, okay. And how did you choose the career? Remember, we talked about that. Okay. So, if you pick a career that doesn't offer health insurance, you have to think about that. Well, maybe let me pick a career that has, and again, you have to do what you love. Okay. um and the lifestyle you want to live. Okay. um what are good ways to save? So let's say you wanted to buy a house. Okay. A house is approximately, you would need to put maybe like $150,000 down. Okay. And let's say you want to save for 5 years. Okay. So technically, you would have to put $30,000 away for 5 years. And let's divide that by 12. Okay. For per month. So you would have to save 2,500 per month. Okay. And here you're only saving 700. So if you really want to get that house, you may want to put that in the savings. And once you have your house, then the beginning, like I said before, it's going to stress you out a little bit. But then when you realize everybody else is paying high rents, but your mortgage stays the same, it's better in the long run. Okay. All right. The spending habits. Okay. Um, I realize when I do my budget, I always realize, and I know I do this, I spend too much on food. But that's my joy. So and when you do a budget, you kind of are able to reflect, like, wow, look how much you're spending here. And it's something that it should be a family thing. Okay, where even the children are involved, because they'll know not to stress them out, especially during this time. You don't want to add stress, but it's a way for them to learn, so when they get older, they know how to budget. Again, that is the key to having a solid financial future, and also to achieving your dreams, because you can't you could dream, you have to dream, but you got to plan. Okay. um okay, and then, is there a surplus? Is there a deficit? And then, what did you learn from this? So I really hope this lesson, if any, serves you. And um, I know I preached a lot today, but I do want you to have a solid financial future. And you can just know how to budget. And there's so many apps out there that that automatically help you budget on your phone, and they'll give you a little alert like, "Oop, you're spending too much on this," you know. Um, so I wish you well always, and I wish you a lot of financial stability and prosperity. Take care of yourself.